Whispers in the Storm. Dr. Mei Chen pressed her palm against the reinforced viewport as the first tendrils of the ionic storm crawled across the horizon of Acheron 9. "Not again," she whispered to herself, the swirling, purple-tinged clouds gathering strength as they approached Outpost Helios. Her third storm this month, and they seemed to be growing more intense with each cycle. The outpost's AI chimed in with its characteristically flat tone. "Warning, atmospheric ionic density increasing beyond safety parameters. Exterior exposure not advised. Estimated storm duration, 19 hours. "Tell me something I don't know, Arya," Dr. Chen muttered as she moved through her carefully organized laboratory, checking that her specimens were secured. The AI had been her only companion for the past 4 months, since the diplomatic tensions between Earth and the Celestial Coalition had erupted into travel restrictions and communication blackouts. She hadn't planned on an extended isolation. The research expedition was supposed to last 6 weeks, studying Acheron's remarkable metallic-infused flora. But when the evacuation order came, the final transport couldn't accommodate all personnel and equipment. As the mission's lead xenobotanist, she had volunteered to remain behind with promises of retrieval within 14 days. Those days had stretched into weeks, and weeks into months. Dr. Chen completed her storm preparation checklist with practiced efficiency. "Arya, initiate storm protocols and power down non-essential systems." The lights dimmed as the outpost shifted to emergency conservation mode. The distinctive hum of the shield generators intensified as they prepared to deflect the incoming ionic particles that could fry unprotected electronics. She settled into her small living quarters adjacent to the lab, pulling up her research notes on her tablet. The native plant species of Acheron 9 had evolved remarkable adaptations to the planet's high concentration of rare metals in the soil and atmosphere. Plants that could potentially revolutionize agriculture and medicine on dozens of worlds if she could fully document their properties. Outside, the storm's advance guard arrived. The characteristic crackling sound of ionic energy against the shields created an almost musical rhythm that she had grown accustomed to, almost finding comfort in its predictable patterns. The outpost's exterior sensors showed visibility dropping to near zero as luminescent purple energy danced through the atmospheric disturbance. Dr. Chen was deep into analyzing cellular adaptation patterns when an unexpected sound cut through the storm's ambient noise. A distinct metallic tapping against the outpost's rear airlock door. Not the random impacts of storm debris, but deliberate, rhythmic knocking. She froze, her fingers hovering over her tablet. "Arya, are there any life signs outside the outpost?" "Scanning," the AI responded. "Warning, exterior sensors compromised by ionic interference. Unable to confirm." The tapping continued, growing more urgent. Dr. Chen moved cautiously to the security console, activating the external camera. The visibility was poor, but she could make out a humanoid figure hunched against the fury of the storm. Purple lightning illuminating glimpses of what appeared to be a slender form in damaged protective gear. "Impossible," she whispered. "Nothing should be able to survive exposure to an ionic storm of this magnitude." Yet someone, or something, was clearly outside seeking entry. Security protocols demanded caution. The outpost contained valuable research that both Earth and Coalition forces would kill to obtain. But basic human compassion couldn't allow her to leave any being to die in the storm. With a deep breath, she made her decision. "Arya, Override security protocol Chen Alpha 37. Initiate airlock decontamination sequence. Warning: security override requires confirmation that occupant safety can be guaranteed. Confirmation acknowledged, risk accepted, Dr. Chen responded, her heart racing as she grabbed a stun baton from the emergency kit. The outer airlock door slid open briefly, allowing the figure to stumble inside before sealing again. She watched through the interior window as decontamination fields activated, neutralizing any harmful particles. Her first clear glimpse of her unexpected visitor made her breath catch. The being was humanoid, but clearly not human. Standing nearly 7 feet tall with a slender frame, the figure had smooth, purple skin with faint bioluminescent patterns that pulsed beneath the surface. The face was elegant, with high cheekbones, large almond-shaped eyes, and no visible nose, just subtle breathing slits. A celestial coalition citizen. Specifically, a Novan, from what Dr. Mei Chen could remember from xenobiology briefings. A member of one of the founding species of the coalition that now stood in political opposition to Earth. The alien's protective suit was torn in several places, revealing wounds where ionic energy had burned through. Her supplies looked military-grade, though she carried no visible weapons. The visitor finally noticed Dr. Chen through the airlock window, those large eyes widening with what appeared to be surprise, perhaps fear. For a long moment they stared at each other, separated by reinforced glass and interstellar politics. Then, the visitor's legs buckled and she collapsed to the airlock floor. Dr. Chen's medical training overrode her caution. "Arya, complete airlock cycle, medical emergency," she commanded, moving quickly to gather the emergency medical kit. The inner door opened with a soft hiss. Dr. Chen approached cautiously, stun baton in one hand, medical kit in the other. The alien remained conscious, but clearly weakened, those remarkable eyes tracking her movements with wariness. "I'm not going to hurt you," Dr. Chen said softly, knowing her words wouldn't be understood, but hoping her tone might convey peaceful intentions. The visitor watched as Dr. Chen slowly set down the stun baton and opened the medical kit. After a moment of tense observation, the alien gradually relaxed her defensive posture. With careful gestures, Dr. Chen indicated her intention to treat the visible wounds. The alien hesitated, then extended an injured arm, a test of intentions. Outside, the ionic storm reached full intensity, bathing the outpost in ethereal purple light. Inside, human and alien regarded each other warily, both understanding they were enemies by definition, yet finding themselves in an impossible moment of connection as Dr. Chen carefully treated the electrical burns on the visitor's purple skin. When she finished, Dr. Chen pointed to herself. "Mei Chen," she said clearly, then gestured questioningly to her visitor. The alien seemed to understand. After a moment, she responded with a melodic sound. "Aya," she said, pointing to herself, a universal gesture that transcended species barriers. "Aya," Dr. Chen repeated, offering a tentative smile. "Welcome to my outpost. I hope neither of us lives to regret this." Broken transmissions. The storm outside Outpost Helios intensified as Dr. Chen carefully monitored Aya's vital signs, her medical scanner struggling to interpret the alien physiology. "Your core temperature seems to be stabilizing," she said, mostly to fill the silence, knowing her words weren't understood. The purple-skinned Novan watched her with those remarkable large eyes that seemed to shift color slightly with her emotional state. Aya gestured toward Dr. Chen's research station, where specimens of Azeron's metallic flora were carefully preserved in stasis fields. Recognition flashed across her features, and she made a series of graceful hand movements that Chen couldn't interpret. "You're interested in the plants, too." Dr. Chen retrieved her tablet and pulled up detailed scans of the specimens. "Are you a scientist like me?" Understanding dawned on Aya's face. She reached slowly into a concealed pocket in her damaged suit and withdrew a small device about the size of a playing card. When activated, it projected a holographic display showing similar plant specimens but with analysis at a quantum level that Chen's equipment couldn't achieve. "You are a researcher," Dr. Chen whispered, excitement temporarily overriding caution. "You've been studying the same phenomena." Through gestures and drawings, they began establishing a rudimentary form of communication. Aya created a simple timeline indicating she had been on Azeron 9 for approximately 2 months, stationed at some kind of research facility on the far side of the planet's northern continent. She had been collecting samples when the storm hit, cutting her off from her base. Dr. Chen shared her own situation, sketching Earth's emblem, then making a slashing motion through it, followed by a question mark. Aya nodded, understanding that Chen was stranded due to the political situation. She responded by drawing the coalition symbol, then making similar gestures, suggesting she too had been abandoned. "So, we're both castaways?" Dr. Chen said with a bitter laugh. "Pawns in a political game neither of us chose to play." Aya seemed to understand the sentiment, if not the exact words. Her bioluminescent patterns shifted to deeper, cooler tones that somehow conveyed melancholy. As the night cycle began, Dr. Chen created a separate sleeping area for her visitor, establishing clear boundaries while providing basic comforts. The universal translator that would normally facilitate communication had been disabled when tensions between Earth and the coalition escalated, a deliberate disruption of diplomatic channels. While Aya rested, Dr. Chen attempted to establish contact with Earth Command using the outpost's secure channel. "Outpost Helios to Earth Command, do you read?" she transmitted, knowing the storm would delay any response. "This is Dr. Mei Chen with critical information." She hesitated, weighing her words carefully. "I have made first contact with a coalition researcher. Situation stable, but requesting diplomatic guidance. Priority Alpha." She ended the transmission, knowing it might be hours or even days before the message pierced the storm's interference, if Earth bothered to respond at all. The joining of minds. The unidentified ship vanished from sensors as quickly as it had appeared, leaving Dr. Chen and Aya in tense silence. "Could be sensor malfunction from the storm," Dr. Chen suggested, though neither of them believed it. They worked rapidly to secure the outpost, sealing ventilation systems and activating secondary shields. As night fell, the storm began to subside, its fury diminishing to occasional flashes of purple lightning. Aya approached Dr. Chen with determined purpose, placing her purple fingers gently on the table between them. She sketched a new diagram. 2 humanoid figures with a connection between their minds, then pointed to herself, and then to Chen. "You want to communicate," Dr. Chen said slowly. "But how?" Aya touched her own temple, then gestured to Chen's. "Telepathic connection," Chen whispered, understanding dawning. "Your species can establish mental links." Aya nodded, her expression solemn, making gestures indicating the process would be temporary and she would only access surface thoughts. Dr. Chen hesitated, weighing the risks against the desperate need for clear communication. "All right," she finally said. "I trust you." Aya moved closer, her large eyes shifting to a deeper violet. She placed her hands gently on either side of Chen's face, the touch cool and smooth. The scientist closed her eyes, feeling a strange tingling sensation as if fine electrical currents were dancing across her skull. Then suddenly, clarity. "Can you understand me now?" The thought wasn't spoken, but Chen heard it clearly in her mind. "Yes," she thought back, amazement flooding her consciousness. This is incredible. The connection is temporary. Aya's mental voice was melodic with complex emotional undertones impossible to fake. It requires significant energy to maintain. Who are you really? Why are you here alone? Images flashed through the connection faster than words could express. Aya in a coalition laboratory discovering military applications for the Oseran flora. Heated arguments with superiors. Her decision to flee with critical research data. Evidence of a radical faction within coalition leadership planning first strike capabilities. They call themselves Purity. They believe humans are a corruption in the galaxy to be cleansed. They've been developing bioweapons using Azuran's molecular structures, weapons that would target human DNA specifically. Horror washed through Chen. And the coalition leadership? Divided. Some support purity, others seek peace. The evidence I carry could prevent war if delivered to both governments. A sudden crash from outside interrupted their connection. Aya broke away, both gasping from the mental separation. "Someone's here," Chen whispered, grabbing her stun baton. The outpost lights flickered then died, plunging them into darkness. Emergency lighting activated, casting red shadows across their faces. "Dr. Chen," a voice called from outside. "This is Lieutenant Kai of Earth Forces, requesting entry." Chen glanced at Aya, who nodded, understanding passing between them. "I need to hide." Aya's thoughts brushed against Chen's mind faintly. "Laboratory specimen vault," Chen directed. "I'll handle this." As Aya concealed herself, Chen approached the airlock, composing her features. "Lieutenant, identification protocol required. Sierra Echo, November 749. Chen, your thesis advisor was Dr. Isabel White, University of Michigan." Chen relaxed slightly, releasing the airlock. The door opened to reveal a tall woman in Earth military fatigues, flanked by 2 armed soldiers. "Lieutenant, welcome to Azuran." "Dr. Chen?" Kai nodded professionally, scanning the outpost. "Commander Cooper sent us ahead of schedule after picking up an unidentified ship in this sector. Are you alone?" Chen hesitated for a fraction of a second. "Yes, just me and my plants, Lieutenant." The lie felt bitter. "What unidentified ship?" "Unknown classification, possibly mercenary. We've had reports of arms dealers interested in frontier world research." As they spoke, one of the soldiers moved deeper into the outpost, checking rooms. "Ma'am?" he called suddenly. "Found something." Chen's heart sank as the soldier returned holding Aya's damaged environment suit. "Interesting research equipment, Doctor," Kai said coldly, drawing her weapon. "Where is the coalition agent?" Before Chen could respond, the outpost's outer defenses exploded in a flash of blue energy, the impact throwing them all to the floor. Warning klaxons blared as Aria announced, "Multiple hostiles breaching perimeter, unknown origin." "Defensive positions, Kai," ordered her team. Then to Chen, "We'll finish our discussion later." The window shattered as a projectile burst through, releasing thick smoke. Chen crawled toward the laboratory, fighting for consciousness as the gas overwhelmed her senses. The last thing she saw before darkness claimed her was Aya emerging from hiding, dragging her toward the emergency exit. Their fingers intertwined as chaos erupted around them.
Hunters in the dark. Dr. Chen awoke to the sensation of cool purple fingers pressed against her forehead, Aya's concerned face hovering above her. "Where are we?" she gasped, recognizing the distinctive phosphorescent glow of Azuran's native fungi illuminating a small cave. "Safe for now," Aya's thoughts touched her mind. 2 kilometers from outpost, hidden underground passage. Chen's memories flooded back. Lieutenant Kai, the attack. "Mercenaries," Aya confirmed, "working for arms dealer consortium. They want Azuran research for highest bidder. Earth forces captured, but some escaped. Chen sat up, wincing at the pain in her ribs. Why did you save me? You could have escaped. Aya's bioluminescent pattern shifted to warmer tones. Same reason you helped me. Scientists, not soldiers. Truth before politics. A distant explosion shook dust from the cave ceiling. Coalition forces, Aya explained. Commander Sarah leads retrieval team, looking for me and research. Three-way battlefield, Chen whispered, and we're caught in the middle. She examined their surroundings. We need to reach the communications array at the southern ridge. It can broadcast directly to both Earth and Coalition leadership simultaneously. 20 kilometers through Azeron wilderness. Aya's mental voice carried concern. Dangerous journey. More dangerous to stay, Chen replied, gathering what few supplies Aya had managed to salvage. If your evidence about this purity faction is correct, both our peoples need to know. Outside the cave entrance, the distinctive sound of dropships echoed across the valley, searchlights cutting through the darkness, hunting for them. Lieutenant Kai's voice amplified over loudspeakers. Dr. Chen, we know you're with the Coalition agent. Surrender now. Another voice overlapped from a different direction. Commander Sarah of the Coalition. Agent Aya, return to your people. We offer protection from Earth forces. Chen and Aya exchanged glances. Neither side knows about the mercenaries or the bioweapon, Chen realized. They're fighting blind. We need allies, Aya's thoughts brushed Chen's mind. Lieutenant Kai might listen to evidence. Risky, Chen warned. But you're right, we can't make it alone. They moved silently through the bioluminescent undergrowth, utilizing Aya's knowledge of Azeron's terrain and Chen's familiarity with the research pathways. When they located Kai's position, they found the lieutenant and her remaining soldier pinned down by mercenary fire. We should help them, Chen decided. Aya hesitated, then nodded. Using the distraction of battle, they circled behind the mercenary position, Aya's natural camouflage abilities allowing her to blend with the glowing flora. She disabled one attacker with a precise nerve strike, while Chen used her stun baton on another. The remaining mercenary turned in surprise, only to fall to Kai's well-placed shot. The lieutenant aimed her weapon at Aya immediately. Give me one reason not to fire. Chen stepped between them. Because we have proof that none of us are the real enemy, Lieutenant. There's a radical faction within the Coalition developing bioweapons, but most Coalition leaders don't know. Convenient story, Kai replied, weapon unwavering. I can show you, Aya offered, extending her hand. Through mental connection. Absolutely not, Kai said. A new explosion rocked the forest, Coalition forces drawing closer. We don't have time for this, Chen snapped. People are dying while politicians play war games. Either shoot us or help us reach the communications array. Kai studied them for a long moment, then slowly lowered her weapon. If you're lying, you'll both face treason charges. If we're lying, it won't matter, Chen replied grimly, because there won't be a planet left to try us on. A bridge between worlds. Dawn broke over Azeron's metallic forests as the unlikely allies approached the communications array perched atop the southern ridge. Chen, Aya, Kai, and the remaining Earth soldier, Cooper, moved in careful formation, avoiding patrols from all sides. The journey had forged an uneasy trust between them. After witnessing evidence of the Purity faction through a limited mental connection with Aya, Lieutenant Kai had contacted Commander Cooper with their findings. The commander remained skeptical, but authorized their mission to broadcast Aya's evidence directly to both governments. Coalition patrol ahead, Aya warned, her senses more attuned to the planet's rhythms. Commander Sarah leads them. We need her cooperation too, Chen said. The evidence will mean more coming from representatives of both sides. You're suggesting we recruit our enemies? Kai said incredulously. I'm suggesting we stop thinking like enemies, Chen replied. Coalition or Earth, we're all targets of this bioweapon. The plan they developed was audacious. Chen would approach Sarah's patrol alone, requesting parley, while the others remained hidden with weapons trained on the Coalition forces. Commander Sarah, Chen called, stepping into the clearing, hands raised. I come with a message from Aya. The Coalition commander, a tall, imposing figure with dark purple skin, signaled her forces to hold fire. The Earth scientist, she said, voice cold. Where is our agent? Safe, Chen replied, "and ready to share critical information about a threat to both our peoples. I propose temporary cooperation." "You expect me to believe Earth forces suddenly care about cooperation? I expect you to care about preventing genocide," Chen countered. "Aya discovered a faction within your own government developing weapons that would annihilate humans, but such weapons once released could mutate, affecting all species." Sarah's expression faltered slightly. "What evidence do you claim to have?" "Let Aya show you," Chen suggested. "A mental connection, limited and observed by your own people." After tense negotiations, Sarah agreed. The connection lasted only moments, but the commander's expression shifted from skepticism to horror. "The Purity faction," she whispered. "They've infiltrated the highest levels." With both military leaders now convinced, they formed an unprecedented alliance, racing toward the communications array as mercenary forces closed in. The final approach became a running battle, Coalition and Earth soldiers fighting side by side against mercenary troops. When they reached the array, Cooper and Kai established defensive positions, while Chen, Aya, and Sarah prepared the broadcast. "Both governments will resist this evidence," Sarah warned. "It threatens too many powerful interests." "Then we make it impossible to ignore," Chen replied, connecting Aya's data core to the transmission system. A simultaneous broadcast to all military and civilian channels, both Coalition and Earth. As mercenary forces breached their outer defenses, Aya's hands flew across the controls. "Transmission initiating," she announced, broadcasting molecular structure of bioweapon development facilities, locations, and Purity faction members. "Add this," Chen said impulsively, recording a message. "This is Dr. Mei Chen of Earth, speaking alongside Commander Sarah of the Celestial Coalition. Today we stand together because there is no Earth side or Coalition side in the face of extinction. We are all targets of those who profit from our conflict, who develop weapons that could destroy all life. I ask leaders on both sides, look at who truly benefits from this war." Aya joined her, purple fingers intertwining with Chen's. "And I, Agent Aya of the Coalition, stand with Dr. Chen. Our differences are nothing compared to our shared future. The stars have room for all our peoples." The transmission surged outward, penetrating communication channels across both territories. Outside, the Alliance forces were being overwhelmed. Kai took a serious wound, Cooper's forces down to their last ammunition. "Transmission complete," Sarah announced. "But we won't survive to see the results." A massive explosion rocked the facility as mercenary forces breached the inner door. The Allies prepared for their final stand, when suddenly, the mercenary advance halted. Communication devices across all forces activated simultaneously. "This is High Council Chairperson Nathaniel. To all Earth and Coalition forces, a ceasefire is hereby declared pending investigation of evidence received. New diplomatic channels opening. Intelligence confirms third-party mercenary forces attempting to escalate conflict. All units engage mercenary targets only. Protect Coalition Earth representatives at Transmission Site Alpha." As reinforcements from both sides converged on their position, routing the mercenary forces, Chen turned to Aya, their hands still joined. "Did we just stop a war?" "Perhaps," Aya replied, her mental voice warm with hope. "Or perhaps we started something better." 3 months later, in the newly established neutral embassy on Azeron 9, Dr. Chen and Aya stood together before the assembled dignitaries from Earth and Coalition worlds. Their research on Azeron's unique flora now directed toward healing and energy applications rather than weapons. The diplomatic hall built around preserved specimens of the planet's metallic plants, a living symbol of cooperation. "The joint research initiative between our peoples will focus on mutual benefit, with independent oversight preventing weaponization. And the first mixed-species science teams begin work next month," Aya added, her telepathic abilities now formally recognized as a diplomatic asset. Earth and Coalition scientists working side by side. As the formal proceedings concluded, Chen and Aya slipped away to the embassy gardens where Azeron's bioluminescent flora had been cultivated in artistic patterns. "Ambassador Chen," Aya teased, using the newly conferred title.
Did you ever imagine this outcome when you found me collapsed at your airlock? Chen smiled, taking Aya's purple hand in hers, their fingers intertwining in what had become their personal gesture. I imagine survival, not history. The Purity faction trials begin next week, Aya said more